welcome to episode 3 of PL Seasons to Remember. Today we are talking all about the FA Cup, which this will be released on FA Cup final day, or what would have been FA Cup final day. I think we all agree that we love this competition, don't we?
Yeah.
We're not
massively.
one of those that thinks it's a Mickey Mouse competition. Personally,
No.
I'd rather win the FA Cup than finish in the top 4, and I know that's kind of, in modern age, people say that's blasphemy, but I think it's all about, football's all about having something at the end of the season. Not just your clubs making enough revenue to survive another year. Well, that may be for some clubs, which is understandable, I guess. But so I want to just get everyone's first memory at FA Cup. So what's the first one you remember watching? So Tavum, you go first, and then Dougie, you go after Tavum.
So the first one I only really got into football around 2004, 2005. The first one I actually remember watching was Man United v Millwall. And I remember thinking, how have Millwall got all the way to the final?
Was that?
2004, that one was.
Oh, 2004, sorry, yeah. It's mixed up, yeah.
So I just remember thinking, how have Millwall got all the way to the final?
Yeah. Because they had Dennis Wise. That was a shocker, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, but then it was an easy win for Man United, 3-0. Cristiano Ronaldo scored. That when he was first season with Man United. And then Van Nistelrooy got 2 goals. That was my earliest memories really of FA Cup, and then obviously the season after. Arsenal won it, so that were quite good for me in my first full season following football.
The Millwall one, wasn't Tim Cahill playing for Millwall, and I think he was, wasn't he?
I think he was. I can remember that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Dennis Wise were up to his old tricks, giving a bit of a kick in and. I think he was playing manager. You'll remember what he was, he? I think he was then, wasn't he?
I'm not sure actually.
Yeah.
It does ring a bell actually. It does ring a bell.
I think Tim Cahill was captain of Millwall.
Oh, was he? Good. I thought he was a good player, Tim Cahill, actually.
Good header.
Oh yeah, the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah,
Millennium Stadium, wasn't it? I remember some cracking finals there.
Yeah, because the Cardiff ones, because Wembley were getting rebuilt, wasn't it? And then it was a bit of a hole, wasn't it, by the end? I think. So the sad thing is about Wembley, the last England game there, the old Wembley, England lost, didn't they, to Germany? Well, what else is new? Dougie, what about you? What's the first FA Cup final you remember watching?
My first FA Cup final I remember watching in 97-98, which was Arsenal and Newcastle. That was the first FA Cup I can remember watching. Arsenal winning 2-0. It was an absolutely glorious afternoon. It was so sunny. Usually FA Cup final days normally are, aren't they?
It is, yeah. It's mental, actually. Yeah.
It's the first
always be sunny.
I'd heard there was a massive build-up from about 11 o'clock in the morning right through till 3 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday afternoon, because FA Cup finals at 5 o'clock now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Was it on? Did you watch it on Sky or on BBC or ITV or?
Sky.
Sky, was it, right?
Yeah. And there was an absolutely huge build-up to it all. So, yeah, that was the first one I remember with my family being Arsenal fans. So it was quite a good year for them that year, winning the double.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember your sister saying Mark Overmars don't touch the ball on his goal to me, and I watched it the other day. Now I'm not sure. Have you watched it since? I assume you've watched it since, like your Tavum and stuff.
Yeah, I watched.
Do you think he touches the ball because it does look like it bounces and does he get the slightest of touches or?
I think he does. Yeah, I think he touches it, mate.
It's not like Harry Kane where he didn't get that head.
No, it's not as clear cut as that.
I heard Kane try to claim that goal from Overmars.
So my first final I remember was when Man United beat Chelsea 4-0, but I was a bit too young, and the only reason I remember it is because I grew up in a Man United house, and my brother had it taped on video. That's the only reason I remember it. I don't remember the year after Everton. I don't think I knew Everton won the FA Cup that year until years later. But obviously so that was the first one I remember. But the first one I actually sat and watched, I think, was probably 96 with my family, because that was another Man United one. So I think first one I actually sat and watched live was probably that one. But the Man U Chelsea one I remember because my brother had it on tape, and thankfully I wasn't really into football then, because I can't imagine if I'd have been a Chelsea fan then it would have been a nice day. 4-0 in FA Cup final. But yeah, that's my first memories anyway of the the FA Cup. So, right then, I think we should move on. Got several topics to get through. So, next one. What are the worst FA Cup finals you've watched? And if you can think of one for your own club, and then one from a neutral point of view. And Doug, you can go first this time if you want. So, what's just name me a couple of the worst final. I mean, if you name some of the ones I'm thinking of, we'll just talk through them and then.
I think the one I remember mostly. What I mean, there was the Cardiff and Portsmouth one, but I don't think I even watched it. I don't think I was even bothered about it.
No, I was in York. That was the day I went to York.
I think I might have been at home, but I wasn't watching. I think the one I watched was Man United and Chelsea, the first game at the new Wembley, and
it was bad, wasn't it?
Being really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of game. I mean, obviously, I won't bother because I would.
Was it extra time, Bob? When Drogba scored, time, and that was the best part of the game because the rest of it was awful. So
don't you think when it's your club though, even if it's rubbish, you kind of don't notice because you're so nervous.
Yeah.
It's not till you watch it back and you go, God, that was bad. Because I was thinking about, the Chelsea Man U one was terrible, and then we played them not last year before, and it was like they went, you can't get any worse than that game, and they went, hold my beer. And an even worse game.
And there was such a build up to that one as well, with it being at New Wembley as well. I remember.
Yeah. I mean, I think FA Cup finals tend to be quite a letdown. I think, in fact, I've gone back on BT Sport because they've got like all the old ones apart from since '89, but they don't have '93 or '96, and I have no idea why. But the FA Cup final, like the '89 one, I think was Liverpool versus Everton. It was 3-2, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then there was like Palace and Man U 3-3, brilliant. Replay were rubbish, and you're like, all these cup finals look like they were quite good for a while. Then it was suddenly they just went, and just decided to just start being really tentative and rubbish. But there's probably some prior to that. But yeah, so you went to Portsmouth. You didn't really watch that one. So you Chelsea, Man United, 2007. Yeah. What about you, Saving? Can you think of any of?
So I think the ones that Dougie mentioned, yeah. But I think for me, the one that I like you say, FA Cup final day, every football fan loves it, even if it's not got your team and you think you're going to watch it. But the one
apart from when it's Portsmouth and Cardiff, apparently.
But the one where I just had no interest in it because it was such a walkover was the most recent one, Man City and Watford.
I know what you mean, yeah.
That was just game over before it started.
You knew, didn't you? Yeah.
You just knew. And it would, and the game itself, it was just like watching the training session.
Yeah, that's it. It was kind of good to watch Man City play like that because it was like.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, because they are good to watch.
There's no contest in a cup final, you just like.
Yeah.
There's no point.
You zone out, don't you? Zone out.
I think Millwall probably put up a better fight against Man U in that one you were on about before.
Yeah. But I just remember I watched it, but I just zoned out the whole time because I was just like, it was sort of on in the background.
Yeah.
And that should never really be the case with the FA Cup final.
There was City and Stoke at one time, wasn't there?
City. Yeah, that wasn't brilliant. I don't think it was. It wasn't great. There was some incidents though, like Robert Hoof elbowed Balotelli and made it quite interesting and stuff like that. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I think the semi-final with Man United and Man City were more entertaining than the actual final itself.
I think a lot of the times the semi-finals usually like the final, isn't it? Like the Man U played Arsenal about 3 or 4 times. Every time the other team's gone on to win it, that's pretty much been the final, hasn't it? Really. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's like when Man City beat Stoke, the semi-final, like you say, was Man City Man United. That was the final, really, wasn't it? So it's only like that year when Wigan beat Man City that it was kind of a bit of a shock, which we'll obviously get into a bit later. So I think because I watched '96, which I wasn't massively into football then. The Man U Liverpool, that was terrible. That was pretty bad. But the worst one I've actually watched was Chelsea Aston Villa. I remember watching it on ITV in my bedroom upstairs, and I remember just being bored out my tree, even though obviously I wanted to win it. I don't even think the nerves were enough to keep me entertained because obviously it was awful.
Yeah.
It was a really poor game. And even the goal we scored was like a scrappy, like tap-in. It wasn't like an amazing goal, which sometimes I think an amazing goal like that 96 one, at least Cantona scored that brilliant goal. So you kind of have that moment to look back on where if you don't even have that, you're almost like a bit rubbish. But yeah, Portsmouth Cardiff, I've watched it since. I mean, it looks all right on the highlights, but the highlights don't tell a full story, do they, of the game? I'm trying to think of if there's any others I can think of now. I mean, I remember your sister Dougie saying that she was a bit bored watching that Arsenal Southampton one. I mean, I watched the highlights of the day and it looked quite good, but obviously for her, she must have thought it was just that easy that he won that.
Yeah, I think it was. It's one of them games where you expect Arsenal to.
Yeah, they were going to win it on. I mean, like I said, the only one I can think of that was particularly shocking was that Wigan Man City. I can't think of any others in our period. Maybe Everton Man United in '95, but I didn't watch it, so I can't really comment on that. So yeah, so is that it for worst finals then? Are we?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
They're often not classics. I think there's probably only been about 5 in my lifetime that I could say were really good games. So right, so I want the best FA Cup final, but it can't be involving your club. So it's got to be one you watched that was 2 other clubs. Like that was a brilliant game type thing. So, Taven, you go first on this one.
So this is an easy one for me. So I remember every step of this game because it was so enthralling.
We're all going out the same game, aren't
we? You couldn't miss. You couldn't take your eyes off it. You couldn't believe what were happening. And so probably guessed it. Liverpool, West Ham.
Yeah.
2006. Sorry. And again at the Millennium Stadium, just. Everything about it, like West Ham getting into that lead, and then you had obviously Gerrard's heroics. It had everything. It's
and
like
that,
the biggest.
Yeah, one of the best cup final. Like, it wasn't a cup final winner, but it was in a way. That's one of the best.
It was like a cup final
goal,
sort of story, wasn't it? It was like, but not even just that goal. I think like how he played the whole game. It was the biggest sort of example of one player dragging. The team over the line.
It was a one-man performance in a way, wasn't it? I think Carrick scored an own goal, didn't he, Dougie?
Yeah, he did. Was that the opener? I think that was the opener.
Yeah, I think it was. I remember Konchesky's with the great commentary, when it just went in. I think he was crossing, personally.
Yeah, I think he was crossing.
And Marlon Harewood missing that chance because he were injured, wasn't he? And he couldn't move properly, and that would have won it, wouldn't it? And then obviously the penalties and Rayner. I think Rayner on penalties was one of the best keepers.
Yeah.
I've ever seen on penalties.
Yeah, so. I think when it got to penalties, I thought the momentum was with Liverpool. Goal must have just kicked the stuffing out of West Ham. Even like for going into the pet, you're thinking you're over the line, and then that happens.
So you've nicked mine. That was going to be mine. So I'll go next, Dougie, if you don't mind. I'm actually going to bring up Arsenal versus Hull, which was a belter of a game. I mean, I did kind of feel bad for Hull. Obviously, Taven, you were probably just like kind of relieved that you'd got back into it. But
ended our drought.
Going 2-0 up in a final. I mean, you must have thought you were going to lose as well. After going 2-0 down, you must have thought.
I just thought like there's two. This is going a little bit off track, but there's 2 times when I thought, right, this is because that were in the height of our trophy drought, like 9 years or whatever it was, and there were one time when we played Birmingham City in the Carling Cup, and I remember the day thinking, it's finally over, we're gonna win this. Obviously, we didn't win that. And then it got to 2014, I thought, right, this is the day now. This is the day when we end this run and we get some silverware. And then to go 2-0 down so early, I was just like stunned. But I never I never felt that we were gonna lose it. There was a weird feeling that day. I think it could have gone to 3-0 though. Gibbs did that goal line clearance.
Yeah. It was pretty. I think one of the things even Arsenal was to say, Hull played really well.
Yeah, they did.
But as a neutral watching it, that made it so much better because it's like it was so exciting, and that was another beautiful, glorious day, as you said, Doug, about the sun and stuff. Yeah. But
it's
I just remember
better.
The thing I remember most is how well Aaron Ramsey played, and because I won't say I didn't rate him, but I always thought he was a good player, but I didn't. And that was one of them. I think he sort of did like a Gerrard performance in that final, like you said before, where that was like that Aaron Ramsey final, if you get what I mean. Yeah. So that was that for me is probably one of the best ones. And I remember speaking to my Hull mate, and he wasn't even upset afterwards because he was so impressed by the way Hull played.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he was upset to lose the final, but I think he was just kind of like, that it was such a good game. You kind of can't be upset after games like that.
No, exactly.
Entertaining. So brilliant for me, that one. So Doug, have you got one, or did I steal yours?
Yeah, you stole mine. second everything you've
That's
just
why
said.
That's why I jumped in, Dougie.
Like I said, growing up in an Arsenal house, 2-0 down, winning all knives. I'd all the knives.
I'm sure your dad probably wants supporting him then, and then was after.
But yeah,
Have you can you any others for you, Dougie? Then anything you think of any?
Not really. No, I mean apart from, like you say, apart from the West Ham final, there's not really been many games that have been quite close. A lot of them have been quite easy, or
they're very tentative out there often. But like I said, that those both games we've described were just like so open. Wasn't they were?
They're just once in a blue moon cup finals, aren't there? Them.
I think we're due another one now. Actually, thinking of.
Yeah, I agree.
Will be this year.
No, it's all we were playing for this year.
Although we were going to come back against Bayern, we're only 3-0 down at home. I don't even remember who was still in the FA Cup, this year. I've got no idea. I know obviously we were in it, but I don't remember any other team. Were Tottenham still in it?
No, they got knocked out.
They got knocked out?
Eric Dyer went into
Man U still in it? I don't even think...
Man U still in it. Man U still in it, yeah.
Yeah, God. I can't even remember. I guess I'll just jump in with one more then, right? Even though I don't think it was the best game, but Wigan Man City, just because of how amazing. My jaw was on the floor when Ben Watson scored that header. I was like, oh my God. And I knew it was over because it was so late in the game. You just couldn't see City coming back. So I think in some ways that's kind of like the biggest FA Cup moment of like the past like 20 years because it was such a shock.
It was one of those fairy tale stories that they always talk about when the FA Cup's in like the preliminary rounds and they get to third round. And it's doing the TV build up. They always talk about the romance of the cup, and that was the really only time that it's actually come to fruition, like big time in the final.
And I'm sure we were all wanting Wigan to win that day as well. I thought City will win this 2-3-0. I didn't think anything of it, and it kept going 0-0, and I kept thinking, I think they brought Xhaka on, and I thought, well, they'll probably, because he used to score, didn't he? They'd always bring a striker on who'd score, somebody like that. But then it just didn't happen, did it? And Ben Watson scored, so it's kind of weird because obviously Wigan went down that year as well. But I always think if you're a Wigan fan, surely that was bigger than being staying in the Premier League.
If you're a Wigan fan, if you look back on your memories as a fan, the first thing they would say is FA Cup final. I mean, definitely, everyone would 100%.
Well, some clubs have never won it, so it's like you talk about Middlesbrough. The only thing they've ever won is a League Cup. They'd love to have like that FA Cup final win. They got to one, didn't they? But it's a bit of a shock.
And that puts it. That goes back to what you said earlier, Bob, about what you'd rather have something like that at the end of the season rather than just getting a place in the league. Which obviously modern football, getting the top four probably means more to clubs, but to fans, and the memories that you accumulate, I don't think
that's what I think it's all about. There's too much emphasis on what financial reward you can get for things now. Like I remember, I like the League Cup as well. I think the League Cup's a great competition, but people kind of belittle it a bit because it's earlier in the season and stuff. But there's only 4 trophies you can win, really. I mean, there's obviously extra ones and stuff, like Community Shields,
Audi Cup,
Super Cup.
For any Spurs fans watching.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like I was saying to Dougie the other day about I don't believe in the Mickey Mouse Trophy comment, but pre-season trophies are kind of like that. Community Shield. I feel like Community Shield. I never remember who played in it when it gets to the end of the season. I can never remember what it was. But I think those 4 trophies for me. I think to win any trophy is like an achievement. And as a football fan, don't you want to see the cup final? I sometimes think winning a cup final is. It's easy to say when you've won league a few times, but winning the league's good. But I almost feel like that thrill of winning that on that day. There's something like special about it.
Yeah, because the league is an accumulation of like the results in it. Whereas that day it's just you and another team, and then that's it from there.
Right then, so I guess we just need to name our favourite FA Cup final. I mean, I want like a definitive answer from you, but you can name a few if you want to go for a couple. And this is like for your own club.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. Dougie, you might as well go first. You've been quite a while, so.
Well, the two finals for me, you've got, I said, we spoke about the West Ham final, but also Liverpool Arsenal back in 2000. That was the first.
When you mugged them.
That was the first cup final in Cardiff. So there was a big thing about the first time having it in Cardiff. And let's just talk about that game for 1 second. Now, Arsenal were a million miles.
Arsenal at the peak of the powers then, weren't they?
A million miles above.
Well, they must have finished. Did they finish second that year?
What, 2001?
Yeah, and I think Liverpool were fourth, weren't they, that year?
Yeah, we got into Champions League on the final day. But yeah, we were quite a long way away from Arsenal back then.
You can tell in game, mate, don't worry.
We got absolutely...
Great goalkeeper, isn't he, Stefan Henshaw?
we got absolutely battered. Absolutely battered. And I watched it in your house. Bob.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And we got absolutely battered. And I mean, Lady Luck was on our side in that game.
I think you've got a season ticket with her.
It won 2020, wasn't it?
But, we had a very, very good relationship in Cardiff. I think.
Yeah.
I think we won pretty much any trophy we played in there, actually.
Apart from one, I can think of.
We played, yeah.
Something I don't think gets mentioned is you were the first team to win at Cardiff in the cup final and the last team to win at Cardiff in the cup final in terms of the FA Cup. I mean, that's pretty. Doesn't get talked about though, does it? That really? Which is
that's the first time I've actually heard that mentioned.
It's like you talk about Aaron Ramsey finals and this and that. That was the Michael Owen final.
Yeah. It was like a one-man.
He did absolutely nothing for 78 minutes, and with 12 minutes to go, he woke up and literally that last goal when Berger put that ball over, and literally Lee Dixon and Adams are miles away from Owen. So far in front.
Yeah, well, he was fast. I think Bill don't remember how fast he was.
By them. Yeah. But what you need to remember is Owen had a massive injury before that season and lost a lot of pace before then. So that was
he had it that day.
That was him not at his quickest.
Yeah.
Lightning. And his finish is out of this world. But it's more that because we beat Arsenal and Arsenal was such higher than us then, and also it was a bit of a weigh on my family as well, because if we'd have lost that, I wouldn't have hated by the end of it. So
I think as well that was a special season for your guys because they did that treble, didn't they? And it was almost like destiny for them to win it.
And people say that wasn't Mickey Mouse treble, but what you tend to relay, like, the thing is,
did everyone else do it? That's what I say.
The UEFA Cup back then was quite a massive competition.
Yeah, it was.
Massive competition. I know, like, they call it the Europa League now, and I think people do take the mick out of Europa League. But UEFA Cup was huge. It was huge, and the League Cup then was big as well. And the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I think
it all seems to have gone along with the how money's sort of gone in football. Like going back to what we said, the financial rewards of things has devalued.
But now on the Europa League, you get that Champions League place. Yeah. So there is a bit more about it. Like it's like almost like an extra chance to get, if you didn't do it or whatever.
It's a bit of a sour note, that, Bob.
Well, yeah. I won't take it Mick I won't bring it up to take Mick. I'm just saying like. Right, so Taven, give me yours. I think I know what's coming one of these, but
so my best final.
Put me out my misery.
No, so I've been obviously being an Arsenal fan. I've been lucky to have obviously the most FA Cup wins in history. Arsenal
13, 13.
And in my time supporting them, I've luckily everyone I've watched, they've won. So.
Well, last one, the loss is that Liverpool one, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't have any memories of that. So I've got a really good record. It didn't happen. I think for me, just the whole, I remember everything about that. It's similar to what I said about the Liverpool West Ham one. I remember everything about the Arsenal Hull day, the whole build up. I remember walking to the shop before I got myself pack of Budweisers, and I thought, right.
I thought you were going to say a
just,
packet of like, minstrels or something.
And it would just, I remember because I was still living at my mum's, and I watched it in my bedroom. No one else were in the house. It was just me and the Arsenal versus Hull, and I just remember, like, obviously the heartbreak for being 2-0 down, and the emotion. I've never celebrated a goal, I don't think, more than I did when Santi Cazorla scored that free kick, because it was such a
Was that the equaliser?
No, that was for 2-1. That was for 2-1.
Right, okay,
so that was the first. That were in the first half. So it was such a great goal to get as well, and such a vital time to score. And again, after we got that, I thought we're gonna come back here. We're gonna get level, and then we got quite a fluky goal from a corner. And then I think there were only one winner then, but it was still, like you said before, the nerves in that game was just massive. Obviously, that one's an obvious standout one for being an
Before you go
fan.
on, do you feel like as well, like, I know it wasn't the first one, but it almost felt like a first one again?
It did, mate. It did.
Because it had been so long. And then,
it did feel like that.
I don't think you
forgotten
can beat
what
that
winning
feeling,
a trophy. Yeah, I'd forgotten what winning a trophy felt like. and I remember I was going to one of my mates' engagement parties after that, so I were in a really good, positive mood. Yeah, got a few drinks down me that night. Yeah. And then and I think the year after then to come back and then we beat Villa again. That would probably not a memorable final for neutrals.
It were a bit like the Man City one last year for me.
Yeah,
we were just that one side.
Yeah, I remember that day because I were at York races throughout the day, and then as soon as that finished, went straight to a pub in York and watched it there. So that was good to actually be out. And normally I watch them at home, but that was one where I actually watched it out.
Oh, that's quite
amongst my mates and everything. So I got quite good memories from that one. And then obviously the most recent one with the Arsenal-Chelsea one, which I think for that it were the best thing about that was how it shut up all the sort of pundits, because I think when we got that semi-final lineup and it was Chelsea, who obviously were gonna win the league, Man City, Arsenal and Spurs, and obviously Spurs are having a good season as well.
Yeah, we knocked them out.
And everyone
Jermaine Genius had a cry.
Yeah. I remember. Yes, I do remember when those semi-finals got announced. I remember Michael Owen saying, "Oh well, Arsenal aren't gonna be in contention." That
might have been an incentive for him, on Dave.
And I went to the FA Cup semi against Man City. I went with my brother and at Wembley. That were a fantastic day because again, no one gave us a chance to win that game.
I know what you mean.
Such a fantastic performance. And then the one against it, so it were like two massive hurdles to get past Man City,
I see what you mean,
Chelsea under Conte at the peak of the powers, and so again that but I think if I had to pick one, it would be the Hull one as an
I can see why, I mean, I obviously not to dig the knife further deeper into me, but that Chelsea game, I do think it was a really good match. I think it was. It wasn't a boring final at all.
No.
I think I even said to you afterwards, I thought you totally deserved it and stuff. It was just. In a way, it was a shame not to do the double again because we'd done the double.
Yeah.
And I feel like that must have been like how Liverpool felt when Wimbledon beat them in like the 80s and stuff.
Yeah.
And not to get that double, because when clubs got the double in our era, they always win, don't they, and win the double. But that time it didn't happen, so it were a bit.
It were weird because even when Chelsea equalised, because I remember we had so many good chances to sort of like put it to bed, and then but I always felt Chelsea have a goal in them, obviously, and then they got a goal, and I was so annoyed because I was like, we don't deserve to be drawing this game, and it was just. That was the overriding. I never sort of felt Chelsea were in the game massively.
No, I didn't think we were that day. It was really frustrating.
Yeah, it was quite weird. And then
obviously Moses got himself sent off diving, didn't he? So I was fuming with him at the time. Yeah.
And then we scored straight after.
Pretty much straight after. Yeah. Ramsey again, wasn't it?
Yeah. So and then I remember Ozil had that chance and he hit post at end. That I thought just wrap it up, and then there were just. I do remember Dougie, and there were just. I think there were like two.
You watched it with me, didn't you, Dougie? We went to KFC that day, didn't we? Yeah.
They were like 2
To be
on
fair,
1
I
and
was
then
alright
Ozil.
after one, Dougie. I even said dinner. I thought Arsenal
Yeah.
deserved it and stuff. I want like a sore
Yeah.
loser.
It was a bit of a bad day for Bob because we had a KFC and that were crap. And then
Yeah, it was terrible.
not the best of days for Bob. That.
Well, my Arsenal mate, he watched it and stuff, and he always texts me whenever we're playing. In fact, he usually knows goals have gone in because he's usually ahead of me. And he goes, "Oh damn!" And I'm like, "Oh, somebody scored then." Yeah, I keep telling him, but he don't listen. But he was like, "Oh, let us win it. Shirt trophies out, because we're not league." And I thought, "Oh, fair enough. You can't really argue with that, can you?" So, so I'll give mine now, then, shall I?
Yeah, go on.
So, luckily for me, I've got quite a few to choose from as well. I mean, some of them are a bit boring, but I mean, 97's a big one because I remember I didn't actually watch it live because I went to my cousin's wedding, but I remember watching it with my dad on like the highlights later that night. And that was when I first started like supporting Chelsea. And I mean, it was more the year after because I watched them in Cup Winners' Cup and stuff when I really got into Chelsea results.
A lot of people get their sort of way into football through like big finals like that.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the people going about glory supporters, but I don't think it makes you.
It's who you get. It's who you get an affiliation to.
Yeah. But going through them all, I mean, I think the best final we've actually played in terms of the game was the Liverpool one in 2012, which I'm not taking Dougie without bringing that one up, but that was actually a good game. It wasn't like a boring final because like Liverpool scored and then nearly equalised and Czech saved it online and stuff, and it was quite exciting to watch. But I think for me the one I enjoyed the most is then will be Everton in 2009 because we'd had the season before that we'd lost the Champions League final and stuff, and we'd not won anything like the season before, and it was almost like we felt like we should have won something,
Yeah.
I think it's sometimes as a football fan when your club's up there, you feel like they should be winning stuff, even though no one's got a right to win anything. But that Everton game, and I remember we went 1-0 down, and I was fuming after 25 seconds because Pianowicz was offside. But I'd actually gone for a wee, so I was nervous, so I missed it, and I done shouted. I was like, God damn it! But yeah, Drogba scored obviously, and then Lampard got winner. I remember just going mental, and he did that like celebration round post that his dad did around the flag. And we actually scored a third goal, but they didn't give it, which it would have got given in the goal line technology days, which is really frustrating. Which obviously there's that England one, isn't there? I remember Germany a few with that one. But yeah, that I think I'd go for that one for me because it was almost like we battled back, and I knew we were going to win the league the year after. It was almost like a feeling. And I think that set us up to do the double the year after, which that was another final the Portsmouth one, which was frustrating because we won 1-0 and we absolutely battered them in at the post and the bar and whatnot. But yeah, I think my favourite one's the Everton one anyway. And good commentary from Clive Tilsley, Dougie's favourite commentator. So.
He comes with the ticket.
Against Liverpool. Yeah. To be fair, Dougie, you've said that more to me than I've said it to you. So anyone got anything else to want to add before we end then about FA Cup and?
I think they've they've ruined it a lot now, the FA Cup. I think the whole point of the FA Cup is you go to Wembley for the final, but now having the semi-final at Wembley, completely. If you'd have go back so many years ago, or go back to 97, 98, anything like, and all the lead to then, if they'd have turned around and says that the semi-final will be played at Wembley as well, people go, nah. Never happened that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That'll never happen that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
The whole point is you play to get to Wembley. Now people get to the semi-final, they're already there. I'm thinking, back here again in May for the final. No.
Yeah.
The final is
it devalues it, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does. It makes it. And I think that is one thing. If the FA Cup is ever going to get back to being a competition, everybody thinks FA Cup.
Should the neutral stadiums, I think, that were the best idea.
Do you know one of the things I think harmed it though? Sometimes when it was on like 2 weeks before season ended, I used to think, why have you done that? Which I get scheduling and stuff, but that used to wind me up.
I didn't
and it should be on at 3:00. Put it on at 3:00. There shouldn't be any other game that day either. You get other games sometimes on the date of FA Cup.
I'm sure the FA Cup would be a week after the season ended.
Yeah, that's how it should be. I think.
Week after it ended, and that was great because next weekend it's the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Now like the Champions League finals like nearly 2 or 3 weeks after the season ends now, and everyone's so lethargic when it comes round to it because. Just play it out. Get the semi-final back at Villa Park. It's always at Villa Park.
Well, you can have Villa Park, Old Trafford, wherever you're playing. Which clubs it is? They used to find a ground in the nearer to them.
Just play it there.
Yeah.
That gives an incentive for the little team. The likes of people like Millwall, they didn't play a semi-final at Cardiff, then go back to Cardiff again for the final.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Incentive for little teams to get to Wembley, and I think that if they're going to ever get it back to normal, get rid of that now and get back to neutral grounds for a semi-final.
I definitely think the media, for one, and the scheduling has harmed the FA Cup in terms of how people perceive it. I think when your own team's in it, you kind of feel that importance and you're really excited and stuff like you were. But I think, like you said about the Man City final last year, you kind of just like not even sure. Yeah. I mean, I watched it. I didn't even know if I was going to watch it. I just put it on, type thing. Yeah. And then sometimes it's like after 3-0, you probably be like, "Oh, I'll turn this off, won't you?" I mean, I always make it a point that I like to watch teams lift the cup, no matter who it is, even if they beat you, which is horrible to watch. But I just feel like it's something I've got to do. But I think like with that one, even I did watch it, but I was almost a bit like, "Oh, just do up and lift cup so I can turn it off." But yeah, it's just. So I think they want to get it back. I mean, I'm hoping after all this stuff settles that people will be that one in football, the FA Cup will kind of come back.
Yeah.
We can only hope, can't we?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So right then, I guess we'll wrap it up there. So you can follow us at PL Seasons, and that's on Twitter. And we do have I can't remember what the Gmail is now. I've forgotten already. PL Seasons of. What are we called? What's his name?
Seasons to Remember.
PL Seasons to Remember at gmail.com, so you can email us if you want to. So, right. And then join us next time when we'll be discussing We Don't Know Yet, do we? Right. Take care, everyone.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.